This has major implications on the Miami Heat organization. Based off brand new comments made by Stephen A. Smith calling for a reshuffling of the Miami Heat front office, leaves the rest of the Miami Heat fan base questioning who the hell would take over for Erik Spoelstra. I'm here to break down all of that on this episode of Heat Digest. But first, please do remember to scroll down and smash that subscribe button if you're a part of the near 80% currently watching this video, not currently subscribed to the channel. We do appreciate all the love and support, so thank you guys. But now let's get to it and break down this major update and how it has major implications on this Miami Heat team and really where the Heat go from here. Now, if you guys haven't been following along, you're lucky because the Miami Heat just got belt to ass, to say it lightly, from the number one seed in the Cleveland Cavaliers in the first round of the playoffs, getting swept 4-0, and the last two games were flat out miserable. And it was destruction. It was disgusting to watch as a Miami Heat fan and supporter and someone who covers this Miami Heat team. But now, because of that result, now Stephen A. Smith is going out on First Take calling for the job of Pat Riley, insisting the idea that Coach Erik Spoelstra now takes the role of the president's position for this Miami Heat organization and allowing Pat Riley to walk off in the sunset. I'm here to break down how that just is not going to work, because I think Stephen A. just failed to really think about the idea that once Coach Spo leaves the head coaching position and enters the president's position of the Miami Heat organization, who's going to take over for Coach Erik Spoelstra? Someone who's been there for over a decade, someone who has worked his way up from being a film coordinator to the head coach of this Miami Heat organization. And he isn't just a head coach. He is someone who is a trendsetter, someone who has really established a walking ground for this Miami Heat organization, not only with the culture, but as the schematics and everything else that goes into being a head coach for a professional basketball team. And with that, an organization at that. Now, Stephen A. Smith is his exact quote. Shout out to First Take on Twitter for posting this, saying, Stephen A. Smith says, it's, quote, it's time, end of quote, for Pat Riley to move on the president of the Miami Heat, going on to then quote Stephen A. Smith as he says, you have to get people to want to come to Miami, and Pat Riley's not that guy anymore. And that's the end of the quote from Stephen A. Smith. And he went on to elaborate how, in a tone that leaves him to think, or leaves everyone to think that he's empathetic for this idea. But Stephen A. Smith is out there making the assumption and putting out the idea that Riley should walk, Spoelstra should go from the head coach to the operation or the presidential operations, where he would be really running the entirety of the Miami Heat organization from Pat Riley's seat. Now, we know who Pat Riley is. He has been involved in the game of basketball for a very, very long time. Whether you're addressing his tenure in the front office as a president or as a head coach or even as a player back in college or for the Los Angeles Lakers in the NBA, and then again, a head coach for a very long time before stepping into the front office position where we've seen him for the last decade plus. And again, specifically with this Miami Heat team. And he's been very successful. He's been a trendsetter without a doubt. He's established this thing that everyone calls Heat culture that a lot of people are assuming was just Jimmy Butler. Don't be so short-sighted. Jimmy Butler was a major piece. He was the last significant piece of, quote, Heat culture for this Miami Heat organization. But don't forget the tenure before Jimmy Butler when he was in Miami. Players like Udonis Haslem, players like Chris Anderson, players along with the Heatles and LeBron James, I hate calling him that, LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and obviously Chris Bosh, and the rest of those squads from, again, the late 2010s all the way up to about 2015, 2016. This Miami Heat team was not just Jimmy Butler being the face of it in the sense of physicality and the overall demeanor. This is something that has been going on for years now. And for Stephen A. Smith to go out there and make this call for Pat Riley's job, to then take Erik Spoelstra out of his current job and put him in Riley's position as, again, the president of basketball operations for this Miami Heat organization, I think he's being short-sighted in the idea that he's not really keeping track and not giving an idea of who would then take over Coach Spo's position. And again, the Miami Heat do have a phenomenal coaching staff from top to bottom, including guys like Chris Quinn, who has been involved in a plentiful amount of different head coaching positions, whether it be out west, or for the Charlotte Hornets or the Washington Wizards or one of these struggling franchises, as well as a bunch of others, and then a bunch of key names like Caron Butler, and as well as others who have been involved in the game of basketball for a long time. But do any of these names, stand out as someone you would like to see as the next Miami Heat head coach? Not necessarily. Now, there's a lot of reference in the sense of the Boston Celtics, as Brad Stevens, as we all know, was a head coach for the Boston Celtics from 2013 to 2014 to 2020-2021, where he was very successful with the Boston Celtics organization as a head coach, where he was quickly promoted to the president's spot, where he's been pretty damn good in that spot as well. But they were able to replace a coach who wasn't there for as long as someone as Coach Spoelstra's been with the Miami Heat organization, which is where the difference really lies in this entire conversation in the situations that we're comparing. If Coach Spoelstra, who is as really decorated and has as many accolades as any coach you really want to put him up against, he's phenomenal. And yes, I understand that. And I don't want to see Coach Spo replaced. I would never want to see him be removed from this Miami Heat organization. But with this really call from Stephen A. Smith leads me to believe that there could be motion behind these wheels, in the sense that these wheels could start to turn. And this really conversation could really pick up behind Coach Spo and Pat Riley in his possible departure. Now, I wouldn't be wagering on this by any means. And again, these are totally hypotheticals. But the idea is the same. I am not confident in the idea that Coach Riley, and again, you haven't called him that in a long time, but Pat Riley to then walk. He does things on his terms. That is something that has been established for years. Back when LeBron, who was the greatest player alive and walking, breathing on the face of this earth, was a part of this organization, Riley did things his way, regardless of who was on that roster. Again, mentioning LeBron, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, and the list goes on and on of credible names that simply are going to do things the Miami Heat way. Why? Because Coach Spoelstra, Pat Riley, Mickey Arison, and the rest of this organization have been a part of it and have really set this tone that is going to be followed. And it's, again, if you don't like it, you can pound sand, and you're going to end up being exited from this Miami Heat organization. Jimmy Butler. Now, this is very intriguing. It's a massive conversation to have, but I don't believe there's a lot of substantial information and really just motion behind it just yet, but I could see how this could quickly pick up, and the Miami Heat fan base is going to have to vocalize their opinion on this. Because, again, there's a lot of conversations about Pat Riley being washed. There's a lot of conversations and slander surrounding Pat Riley because of the season that we saw this past year, and the last 2 years really being a play-in team, not getting the job done. Let's look at the rosters. Let's compare those rosters to other powerhouses in the Eastern Conference, specifically, as well as the NBA in general. This Miami Heat team does not rank amongst the best, and especially when you come to player personnel on paper. Is Pat Riley going to walk? We will see. I don't believe in his heart he is going to really accept the fact that maybe I am the problem. I sincerely doubt that will happen. But again, it's Pat Riley. We never know what he's going to do next. Let me know down below what you guys think about this possible move of Pat Riley departing and Coach Erik Spoelstra as well from the head coaching position to the president's position. I'll see you guys on the next episode of Heat Digest. Thank you guys for watching.